Atheism is not a worldview, but secular humanism is, and is appealing to many atheists. So, the quote here is, "There are no gods coming to save us, so we better take care of ourselves and each other." What's the immorality in that? Most of our conversation tonight is going to be based on humanist thinking, but we do have a topic before we get into that. But before we get into our first topic, I have to introduce my lovely, wonderful, beautiful co-host, Christy Santiago.
Happy Friday, guys. That's me. I'm so excited about our show tonight. I hope you guys are excited too, because we're going to learn, we're going to feel solidarity, we're going to feel all warm and fuzzies, and hopefully want to share what we learned with more people tonight. I'm so excited for tonight.
Hell yeah. And we've had a few low points over the last couple of weeks, so this will be wonderful.
Right.
And we have a wonderful special guest here, Damien Marie, AtHope.
Hey. How you doing? Good to see you.
Welcome to our show. I have listened to a little bit of your stuff, and I'm very, very curious on everything you think. You sound like a wonderful person. You also have a good way of speaking.
Thank you.
Talk, so I'm excited to have you on the show.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you. So we're going to go ahead and get into our first topic here, the corona effect. As Christy, do you have any specific updates you want to do for the coronavirus this week? I don't want to make this a long topic, but no,
not for this week.
Well, I would like to bring up something because I just tried to do a video with a guy from Norway. I guess for some reason it didn't record any sound, so I have an hour and a half video without any sound. But he brought up a thing where he said that, which is a stated fact, that there's 50,000 deaths a year of normal influenza type related things. But I was like, yeah, but you're missing the point at how communicable this is. That this disease spreads so fast and so much. I mean, and it also is killing people that the normal flu doesn't, like 20-year-olds. So I said it's a fallacy that you look at this big number and think that that's the only thing that matters. I go, the reason it's not worse is because everybody in the world has been social distancing, or relatively. So do we social distance for a normal flu? No. Because it's not that many people being affected that fast and to that severity. Even if they were the same exact, as what I was trying to get him to understand, even if they had the exact same death rate, this is still worse because it's hitting more people faster. So, I mean, anyways, that's my point that I tried to do in my video with him. Because he started trying to say, he almost started acting like it was a hoax. It's not. It's that kind of thing where people allow, that kind of thinking, because you're stating one thing that's not relating to the other. Anyways, I wanted to address that.
No, those are very solid points. It is a coronavirus. It is in that family. So one that we've never had before. So there's no herd immunity. Dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's so contagious that the CDC, I got my own email today, that's saying the CDC is now recommending that if you venture outside, you wear a mask. We've never had to do that for the flu. Now,
exactly.
Your doctor will tell you to put a mask on, if you go out to the grocery store, but not if you're not sick. So things are different. It's unfortunate that people try to do that, and you stated it correctly. It is a fallacy.
Yeah, it's a fallacy.
But he's trying to build a straw man of something so he can take that apart, and that's unacceptable. You have to call it out.
Yeah, and I just thought that since it was, I tried to address it in that, but since you were talking about this subject, I felt it's relevant. It was just told to me tonight.
Right. Just happened. Okay.
It is relevant. There's a CARE Act that Trump expanded on it as of, I think, today, and that is to help everyone who just lost their insurance through their work. They can now get into the market of getting new insurance through the Affordable Care Act. So that was expanded. So any insurance companies who help anyone who's dealing with the coronavirus, who's being tested or treated for it, the healthcare providers that help them will be reimbursed also at Medicare rates. So I didn't get to look into the whole thing here, but what I'm seeing is a lot more half measures to deal with a really big problem.
On that, I can tell you that this will only be if states accept it. I live in Florida, and they didn't accept Medicaid expansion. They don't accept any help because then they can say bootstraps. We all know what
Bootstrap state.
I can't
Sandal
stand it.
straps.
They don't have boots, or socks, or soles. Like,
Sandal straps.
Yeah, sandal straps.
Yeah, they're just saying help yourself or you know, don't expect any help.
Yeah.
That's the American way.
Right, American way, let them die.
Makes that I'm allergic to it. My eyes start twitching. I'm like, wait. Do it in your ivory tower. If you caught anything, you're fine. If your daughter gets sexually abused or just an accident happens and she needs an abortion, she's fine. Even if it's not available in your location. You're wealthy. Your ivory tower. I can't stand that. That's why people like you and Mac and myself and our friends need to be inspired to run for local seats, all seats. If we are representing ourselves, it's so much harder to shit on your friend.
Yeah. As you pointed out, Damien, like a lot of people like die. This is one of the arguments that we use for Medicare for all. That like over 50,000 people die.
Yeah, between 38,000 and 68,000 human beings die for a lack of healthcare. Not that it's not affordable in this nation. They just personally can't.
And that's not worldwide, is it? That's just one country. That's weird, right? That's only the best country.
Yeah, it's the one with the freedom not to have health care. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a livable. And one of their solutions is that if you don't have health insurance, they'll pay the health care providers at Medicare rates, but they could just do that for everyone, right?
I agree.
It's such an easier fix. You don't need 56 pages or over 1,000 pages of legislation to fix this problem. You need less than 5, and it's very simple. And it takes care of everyone. Just put a progressive tax on the rich, and
I've held signs outside that say tax the rich when I was living in Seattle.
Sounds like a good place to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a big disparity of super uber rich and then people that are freaking poor. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Homeless and stuff.
A lot of big protests popped off. Lots of big protests against corporations. I follow any kind of human solidarity movements, ground up movements. I'm fascinated and obsessed with them. I followed them from Eugene Debs. I mean, all of them. I love history and I love these uprisings. And I was just thinking those thoughts that Mac was just saying as I was walking my dog, Mr. Bean, which is a perfectly good name for a dog, by the way. Mr. Bean and I were going for a walk, and I was thinking, here it is again. Whenever a conservative or wealthy, and it could be Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. These conservative, more wealthy leaders of ours feel a certain way that stomps on other people's rights, whether it's anti-choice, all over the place.
Yeah.
Until something happens to them personally. Their daughter grows up and marries a woman.
Right.
Their son grows up and then they're like, you know what, I was wrong. I'm not shitting on them. I think that they got to the right way. I'm happy with that. What really shits on my feelings is that we're in a crisis that is worldwide. And it took everyone feeling it for them to go, holy shit, this is not right. When other individual families are having a crisis, they lost their job and can't pay their bills, and now the dad, the sole breadwinner, he has to now tell his family we're homeless because your mother died of cancer and that used up all of our savings. Like, these things happen everywhere in this country, and that is just as big of a earth-shattering crisis for that family as this is for all of us. And I feel like that should be, think about, put yourself in their shoes. That's a huge crisis, and if we can use this crisis we're in right now, this one walk with this dog, this is what I got done. This is what I achieved from these thoughts. If we can really put pressure on, stand in solidarity no matter what our beliefs are, and push for progressive policies, now's the time. Now's the time where we have people listening.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been the time since the 1800s, but yeah. Or before that, the 1700s.
I feel you. I promise, I do.
No, I just meant that our countries need it.
Very late, Mac. Very late.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, I want to update people on my state real quick. That's really all I know because I have people in my state telling me. So the governor, Mike DeWine, here in Ohio, he extended our April 6th deadline, I guess, or not a deadline, but like the order until April 6th for only essential businesses to be running to May 1st, which she had a few days before that said that that's where they're pushing school back till at least, but they're also looking at just ending it for the year. So that's what my state's doing, and they're also, I think they put a limit on who or how many people you can have going to the grocery store from your house. It's like one per household. I also heard something about that. Yeah, so the Wyand's really trying to go about this the right way, and he has Amy Adkins. She actually does most of the talking on any of like the coronavirus stuff. Unlike Trump pretending he knows what he's talking about, and then has a professional come up and work against what he just said.
The best idea.
That's it. He's a very stable genius. Yes.
Yeah, he's none of those things. He's neither stable or a genius.
It's true. So I listened to most of Damien's Evolution of Religion today. Then when I switched to washing dishes, I switched to listening to Trump for an hour, which I haven't seen him live.
Culture shock immediately.
This has been
really.
Yeah. It's been a while since I just listened because it was live. I was washing dishes. I'm like, I can do this. I listened to about 45 minutes of it. It was something else. Like they were just talking about
not reality.
I saw that he like said, I'm number one on Facebook. It's like, dude, people are dying. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's almost unbelievable. You're like, is this like a skit? This is something you see on Saturday Night Live, not an actual president.
Right. And he just sways back and forth and it's not his turn. Which, look, I get if he has like ADHD or something like that. I get that. I have a hard time staying still myself. But like also like, man, when like you know you're on camera, you try extra hard. Like, Jesus Christ, man. It's just, he's such an embarrassment. And they were talking about the masks that you're supposed to wear with the N.
Oh yeah, scarves.
N95.
Yeah, N95s. Those, and the press asked him, like, why aren't you wearing one? He's like, oh, that's just a personal choice. We don't use it. And
well, he did look at the sun though.
Surgeon General comes up. He did look at the sun.
Remember the eclipse? I mean, without glasses, the dude is a moron.
Oh, I remember.
I mean,
he looked up, looked at the cameras to make sure they were getting him looking up.
Yeah.
And was like, yeah. I'm like, oh my god.
It's personal choice.
Yeah, it's a personal. That's what I'm saying. This is the guy that looks at the sun. Like, what else do you need to say?
Look, honestly, if they want you to stop at the stop signs, just take the white outline off of the stop sign.
Yeah, there you go.
We all know that means optional.
Just make it red. Just the color. No words.
Just make it red. Actually, put the white stop in red too. Make the whole sign red.
Right. Different color red, so they have to be real close. See, if you came to a full stop, you'd be able to read the red on red, but you were farther away. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Make them remember in the 90s those.
But you sound like you're super smart.
Mac, do you remember in the 90s the art that you would have to look at to see the picture? You have to wait for the picture.
Right.
Make all the stop signs like that. You won't know what the action is you're supposed to do until you figure it out.
Yeah, but I think maybe that's how Trump already sees stuff. You ever seen him read stuff? He'd be like, in Ecuador did you know that Ecuador is that far away? You're like going, oh my. It's like a child. They read a book and they're like, oh, wow. Who knew what air was?
And none of this is surprising, right?
No.
We know this. This is basic like Trump 101 stuff. But I know that. I feel like everyone knows that. And like, I haven't just watched it in a while. It's really still so bizarre to just watch. It's like, okay, reality check. I'm not crazy. It's just wow. That reminds me. Yeah, it's so freaking weird.
I listened to him and Pence. Pence had a thingamabobber today too, and it's like listening to someone. I say it all the time. I prefer my president to be smarter than me. on many things. And there are two people that one of them believes the earth was created 6,000 years ago, our vice president. The most powerful seat on the planet is a young earth creationist. And then the other one thinks that energy is finite and that the Lord gives him a certain amount of energy for his life, and that's why he doesn't work out. Because he doesn't want to use up his energy. Like, these are the two people ruling. And we have a lot of work to do as citizens of this planet, of citizens of this country. This country has the most powerful, most devastating military ever known to the human race ever. I mean, ever. No, nothing's ever been as big as our military. And you see superheroes right here, massive superheroes. We're the League of Extraordinary Atheists. We kind of right, exactly. We just kind of like that. It's good entertainment. You know who's bad, you know who's good. That's not the world we lived in for a long time. It was having to have journalists, find and research, and now it's just leaked. It was a perfect call. Like, we read it. We read the transcript. It wasn't. And he'll still say, did you read the transcript? Well, if you did, you'd know. I did. I do know. You're wrong.
You're wrong.
And just like when he says...
Transcripts in their sleep.
But he'll also say nonsense like, this is a very good person. I know that... When he says that, I almost think they must be terrible. Because his opinion about what's good is so off. Almost like he picks, like, is he racist, homophobic, sexist? My God, why is he not in Trump's government?
Makes you wonder.
Yeah, it does. When he started filling up, when he emptied the swamp of a certain type of swamp monster, and then he just dirtied the swamp with other swamp monsters. Like, nothing has... The corruption is more blatant.
Yeah, well, and I think it got other things added to it. There was not as much overt sexism as there are now. There's not as much racism as there is now. There's not as much homophobia. I mean, look at how much he's going after trans rights, and it's just disgusting. And then going after immigrants and even hating on homeless. It's like the dude is just, yeah.
Thomas Westbrook, since you just brought that up, is doing a fundraiser, a long-term fundraiser for trans rights right now. So if anyone's interested in volunteering or being a part of Holy Kool-Aid, Thomas Westbrook would be glad to have anybody who wants to volunteer and help out. But yeah, he's doing big things for the trans community, and the trans community needs more people who aren't trans to be advocates for them. It's just not an option.
Yeah.
They're such a small minority, they need us to step up.
Yeah, it's a humanist thing to do. Yeah. It's like someone was trying to tell me that they're trying to get better at using the proper pronouns, but the people, need to be sensitive that they're trying and not, jump on them. And I said, no, really, you need to be compassionate. They're the person with the need, not you. I go, you're looking at it backwards. I mean, it's like, I understand that people, aren't used to things, but, it's really fighting that fear because, fear, left unchecked becomes this multiplying negative thing that, it's because humans in general, what we fear, we learn to hate. What we hate, we seek to destroy. What we seek, to destroy is things that we don't know. So one of the things that we need to first do is become informed. That's why it's so important to be knowledgeable, so important to seek education. And then when you don't know, the right attitude is compassion, because that is when you are ready to learn.
I agree.
So, I feel like... Well, I feel like people, give themselves an emotional cop-out. Well, I don't know, so I don't have to be good. Wrong. You don't know means you have an extra responsibility to be good, not less. It's not like you should be cutting slack. It's that you should, because it reminds me, like when people say sorry, sometimes they'll go, I am sorry. That's not really sorry. A truly sorry person goes, how did I hurt you? What can I do? Know what it is? It's that thing I was saying. It's the compassion. It's that caring. That's the difference. Just like I have a bachelor's in psychology, and one of the things that I learned, like in group counseling, one of the things I liked the best was that you don't have to even be educated to help someone, because really what happens in a group is that people are listening, which is a form to me of compassion. When I don't understand, you know what I do? I ask and then I shut the fuck up. And I listen. And what I also think is important to understand, especially with people trans or anything that, people get sick of also explaining every fucking detail of their life to other people sometimes. I mean, me, it doesn't bother you because I don't give a shit. I'll talk about myself all the time. But I also say that doesn't mean everybody has to be like that. Some people, they're tired or exhausted to try to defend who they are. And, it just, I don't like any of that. I don't like any sexism, homophobia, transphobia, any of that shit. I feel like it's all anti-human. I try to start with the position that I look at people as a dignity being. Not male, female, whatever, but a person of dignity. Someone who deserves honor. And then what is my job is then to respect that dignity. So I think when you start with that mindset, then it doesn't matter, if there's somebody that comes up with a new label or a new understanding of what was probably already going on. We just were unaware. And I think there's this flawed thinking that even as a rationalist, which I am, who thinks about everything, I always tell people I still make mistakes. You know why? Because we're human. We're going to. But it's this willingness to move past that. I mean, to me also, like I try to take when people are mean to me, I try to take that as a chance for me to remember that I need to be more kind to others, that I need to be more compassionate to others. That every time someone does something unfair, I try to think, how in my life have I done something similar? How much can I make myself better? Instead of getting all harping on that they're doing something wrong, I try to think of, okay, this is a chance for me to remember how I need to treat others, how it feels. And like this one guy was trying to tell me that, he thinks there's too many reactionaries in the left. Everyone's sexist, everyone's homophobic, everyone's racist. And I go, you know what? It's easy when you stand at the top and you look down. It doesn't look like much, and it's not very impressive or threatening. But when you're the one being stood on and you're looking up, you can see it all. I said, we have this, blindness, an encapsulation, and we don't think. We don't feel. Just like if you look at my gender on Facebook, it says intersex, genderqueer, male. And when I say that to people, a lot of times they get like, that's confusing. I don't want to say that. And I like, you know what? But
educate myself.
Well, I don't want. That's like how I feel. It's like, or like somehow I just need to just whatever I look like. That's it. And you don't want to understand or don't explain it. And I feel like it's that same thing. It's that lack of compassion. So I need to look at other people and go, how can I understand? How can I be? But like I think it's so weird to me because it's humanism, and I think that like they said at the beginning, that atheism is a conclusion to me. It's not a way of life. It's just a conclusion. I realize, wow, all theistic claims are bullshit. That we're here alone. And then I started to think, well, if we're here alone, then that means that we're the only hope. And if we're the only hope, then we're going to have to work together because we are, in a sense, fragile bodies alone in the world. And we're just looking for safety and comfort. And this is something that we can only achieve, in a sense, with other people. And that that's somewhat true because if you look at it, you put someone in solitary confinement and remove people, we're such a social species that we almost kind of go mad in our head and have emotional problems because we really do need to connect. And that's why I think people would tell me, I have a sticker in the back of my car. It's a sign of a heart with the equal sign, like equal marriage. But I'd say, no, it's equal love, equal marriage. I don't care if you're married. If you're gay or lesbian, whatever, guess what? Your marriage is already equal. Your love without the marriage is already equal. It doesn't, what I'm saying? It's not that it's only once you're married, then it's, you should have equal marriage. I think that it should be seen as equal love. It would forget to have to even be married.
And And with you
Marriage-
also having
marriage isn't like the way it used to be. So you're right. Love should be love.
Right.
You know, no one's paying a dowry for their bride these days. So let's move the
Wait,
fuck up.
what?
You're not getting a goat, Mac. You're not getting a goat.
Bad move.
It's too bad.
Yeah, that's too bad. I was going to say, because on your channel, you
Yes.
referenced multiple times that you are
An
agnostic
axiological?
as well as
An agnostic with an I. Is that what you're saying?
agnostic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So to me, I'm an anti-agnostic. Not the people, not the ones who believe it, but the concepts generally used to supposedly support it. I have like 7 blogs, maybe 5 blog posts about all the ways that agnosticism is a wrong concept, you know, or how it's being presented. And so, I mean, I go way into it.
Very interesting.
Yes,
So,
very. I love to challenge any belief that I think I have. Like, oh, I get it, I understand it, and then I hear something and I'm like, well, that doesn't fit in there.
That's why debates.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Now I have to learn about it.
Oh, about agnosticism? Is that what you're talking about? Oh yeah, agnosticism, you've probably already done it. Just like axiological atheism, a lot of people have done it because a general argument from evil is kind of the main concept that people talk about is an axiological atheism concept. Because axiology is the philosophy or science of understanding what is good, beneficial, helpful, true, accurate. It's like the evaluation thing. So when you evaluate atheism, what you're really evaluating is actually theism. You're evaluating, is the God concept good? And since people will kill for a concept that we know is not a real being, the concept itself is toxic. The concept itself of God, also if you think about it, God is a label. It's not a being, it's what we call it king. God is the label of a thing. Because there's different kinds of gods or goddesses, or like deities. So these are labels that were like a category of leadership. So generally when you say a god, it's a being that's able to violate human rights at will against human will or human rights. And to me, that's an anti-humanism concept. Because if this being really can tell me how to live my life and rule my life, or hurt me if I choose not to be a theist, or hurt me if I'm gay, I mean, that concept alone makes that an anti-humanism. It should be not just something we don't believe, but something we actively reject, and not reject from a hateful, but from a love position. Because I love humanity so much and freedom of rights of people and their dignity being status, I cannot accept anything, you know, just like Sam Harris said, celestial North Korea. I mean, can't do it. I mean, it's just, I see it really as an anti-humanism. That's what Axiology atheism would say also. It's the exact same thing. And it's go ahead.
And it's not just rejecting it just from like a love standpoint. It's also just with that love standpoint. It's just logical.
It is totally logical. Yes.
This all loving being.
Yeah.
This omnibenevolent thing. So goddamn hateful.